Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation and this video. I've discussed before in various other videos, but this is kind of a video on its own on the problem with anecdotal evidence. So, basically, stating something as truth because it has personally happened to you, or you have personally thought it has happened to you, does not make it scientific. In this particular instance, it's usually related to when cloth pad and menstrual cup enthusiasts state that their period has reduced in either time, days, hours, or size, like you might have bled heavy and now you believe you bleed light. So they state that their period has reduced to the said saying cloth pads and menstrual cups. Anecdotal evidence is, at its essence, a story told from or with personal experience that is presented as fact. These types of stories are the types that you see in product testimonials, such as weight loss tea. And while we know that scientifically these teas are an unmitigated lie, that doesn't actually change the testimonial of the person who has used it. With scientific evidence, you are required, or should be required, to have methodologies in place, such as sample sizes, precise controlled data collection, mitigation of outside factors to control the data set, replication or the ability to replicate that data in repeated circumstances, and repeated and substantial core data comparisons. In comparison, anecdotal evidence. So in comparison to all of the scientific approach, anecdotal evidence is usually small sample sizes. They are self-reported evidence that is based on casual, unsubstantiated claims or observation in uncontrolled, untested circumstances that have no precise, comparative or controlled data. Observations are used to make casual, alleged data correlations that are non-existent or cannot be proved. Anecdotal evidence is the urban legend of storytelling in science. It wants to be taken seriously but does nothing to remedy the lack of viable, measurable data. When data observed under controlled conditions versus anecdotal evidence, free personal stories, anecdotal evidence is very much atypical and in most cases can actually just disprove itself by being anecdotal rather than actually evidence-based. It is almost as if an anti-science. It's emotional, personal stories rooted in a deeply personal miracle cure that, at least on the surface, worked or changed a troubling experience. You hear these types of stories with, say, juice detoxes or cleansers, where practitioners are adamant in their solutions, yet all the medical data points out that your body detoxifies itself. And that if it stops detoxifying yourself, that's when you get sick. Your juice detox has nothing to do with this. However, anecdotal evidence will tell you that you're not sick because of the cleanse, and it's not because your body naturally cleanses itself or has built-in detoxifiers. This also applies to the cloth pad community. Some who insist that their periods are shorter and lighter due to switching to alternative products. This has a twofold effect. Which is the promotion of single-use disposables as violently carcinogenic, inducing toxic waste. And the second is that reusables are a cure-all to this problem. It is important to recognise that how you feel about something influences how you react to this. The placebo effect is a documented reaction. It does not always have a negative reaction, or it doesn't always have an implied negativity to it. However, anecdotal evidence has led to a proliferation of videos on YouTube and over on blogs whereby single-use disposables are being burnt and accused of being carcinogenic, which is really obscenely fear-mongering. The alternatives are presented as organic, single-use disposables or reusable options. I've gone over organic single-use disposables before and how they're lacking, and we'll link it either here or below, and while they're not, and why they are not a good option. However, why they are comparatively not necessarily the good option. However, the anecdotal evidence with reusables can become very emotionally extreme, and these testimonials are worthless as evidence. And none of these can be used to establish the causal relationship between the lessening of periods and the increase in reusable products. Saying, I used to have heavy periods, I now switched to a menstrual cup and my period is better now, therefore menstrual cups made my period better, is anecdotal evidence. How did it do this? Why did it do this? And how much did you bleed before you switched to the menstrual cup? How did you know how much you bled before you went to the menstrual cup? This is why it's an anecdotal evidence and a motive. A much better conversation here would be, I switched to a menstrual cup and I believe my period got lighter. Let's do some investigation and data and collect some data and compare actual evidence. Anecdotal evidence can supply a direction for investigation or highlight an area for investigation, but in the absence of these controlled evidence-based data sets, there cannot be an established connection between the two things. Anecdotal evidence is invalid and are basically known as logical fallacies that do not represent anything that is actual reality and are full of uncontrolled factors that do not have a comparative data sample set. There is not enough of a sample size and these are not collected within a controlled environment. There is a lot of information and commentary on anecdotal evidence and why it is bad, and it's pretty much all easy enough to find this information. Reusables are amazing and I love them, and hopefully that you do too, but just don't lie about it. We don't actually need to do this to promote reusables as the best option. Enjoy your morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.